What's going on, YouTube? I am back again with another daily investment update. This time it's for Vanguard's VGT. I've been investing in this particular fund over the last 166 days. And in today's video, we're going to take a look at how that investment has been performing for me since I started investing in it back in March of 2025. Now, guys, it seems like every time that I've been providing you with an update, especially lately, the market just continues to soar and hit all-time highs. And that is the same theme for this video today. The market has continued to hit all-time highs, and I'm not sure if we're going to see any pullback in the market. I mean, it seems like every time I turn on CNBC or I'm reading an article, there's an analyst saying, hey, be prepared for the market to pull back. And every time the market actually has a little bit of a pullback, we seem to recover and then we soar and hit all-time highs. So will a pullback occur? Likely. But of course, we can't determine when that's going to be. So we're just going to continue our investment strategy and continue on the path to building wealth. Now, if you haven't started investing with me at any point since I started investing in this portfolio back in January of 2024, now is the time to actually start investing. I'm investing $10 a day into Vanguard's VGT, but of course you don't have to. You can start out by investing $5 every single day, $25 a week, $50 a month, whatever you can, just to actually get in the game and get started, and then you can go from there. Now let's take a look and see how VGT has been performing for me over the last 166 days. So right now we're taking a look at my investment in Webull on VGT. And if you take a look to the top left, you will see that I am up in my account $438.03. And I'm up 26.21% since I started investing in this fund back in March of 2025. Up until recently, VGT was the #1 performing stock in my portfolio. If you've watched any of my previous daily update videos, then you know I'm also investing in SCHD and VOO as well. VOO has surpassed the overall returns in my portfolio, but VGT is right behind it at 26.21% return on my investment since March of this year. Now, if you take a look to the right of that, you'll see that my daily P&L, and this is before the market opens today, $15.44, and I'm up almost a 0.74%. So not a lot, but every day that I see green in my investment, I like to see that. Although I do like to see when the market temporarily turns red and I'm able to average into my position whenever the market pulls back. But since we have this on autopilot and Webull is going in and investing on my behalf every single day, we don't have the luxury of timing when we actually buy. But that's all right. I'm not going to trip on that because this is invest and chill for this particular portfolio. I'm letting it do its thing. I'm just going to sit back and I'm just going to keep giving these updates for you guys periodically on each of the investments that I'm investing in. And if we take a look below that, we'll see that I have a total market value of $2,109.45, and I have a total cost of $1,671.43. I have an average price that I've been able to purchase this index fund at $635.47. I have a total quantity of 2.6, so just a little over 2.5 shares of VGT, and it accounts for 28.46, so almost 28.5% of my portfolio. I previously mentioned I have 2 other investments in this portfolio, and VGT makes up the smallest portion of my portfolio. It was the 3rd index fund that I started investing in, and it's also a little bit more expensive than the other funds that I'm investing in. And then the last price that we were able to average in VGT was $802.01. And then if we take a look at this screen right here, we'll see that in pre-market that VGT is trading at $796.14, and we have a 52-week high. So if we're taking a look at the middle column here of $799.13, one of the things that I want to point out is that the last price that we were able to purchase VGT at is higher than what it's showing on this screen right here. My guess is that this has not updated yet because we're in pre-market, and once the market opens today, we'll see a new 52-week high there. And then, of course, right below that, we have a 52-week low of $449.99. Now, whenever we pulled back earlier this year, whenever this administration first started talking about tariffs, I thought we were going to see a lot of movement to the downside, especially when we hit that $449 price mark. Unfortunately, we didn't have much time to average in when the price was down at that point, but we were able to capture some of that reduced spend while it made its way back up to around $800 a share. So we weren't able to invest as much as I would have wanted to when the market pulled back near that 52-week low, but we were able to capture some of that on the way down and then, of course, on the way back up. And then if we take a look in the third column here, underneath 1 year return, cumulative return, VGT is returning 32.61% return on your investment. And to me, that's a solid return. I'm up over 25% in this investment since I started investing back in March of this year. So overall, I'm really liking the direction that VGT is heading. All right, so right now we are taking a look at a monthly candlestick chart for Vanguard's VGT. Each one of these candlesticks represents 1 month of movement in the market in this particular fund. And as you can see, we have continued to trend to the upside. Now, we did have some minor pullbacks along the way, but each time the market pulled back, this particular fund rebounded and responded rather nicely, as you can see here on this chart. Now, when it comes to dividends, I have received 3 small dividend payouts for this fund. The very first dividend payout that I received was for 21 cents. The second was for 99 cents. And then the last dividend that I received was $1.97. So not a lot by way of dividends. These were paid out and they were reinvested right back into my position. I'm not investing in VGT for its dividend. That's why I have SCHD. I'm investing in this fund because it is aggressive growth, technology-based index fund. And the way that the market has been moving in the technology sector, it has made this fund move to the upside sharply. I am up over 26% in my investment in VGT since I started investing in it back in March of 2025. So I'm happy with how my investment has been performing over the last 166 days. Since I started posting these update videos, I will often have comments where people are saying, hey, you need to pair this with a growth fund, or some of the comments will say, hey, you should be investing in SCHG as opposed to VGT. Now, for me, it's all about preference. Both are very good funds to invest in, and both are aggressive growth funds. Now, if we take a look at the top 15 holdings for both SCHG and VGT, you'll see that their holdings are substantially similar, with the main differences being where SCHG invests in companies such as Eli Lilly, Visa, and MasterCard, and VGT is 100% technology based. All right, let's take a minute to talk about how much it actually costs to invest in this particular fund. Some people don't realize when you invest in an index fund that there is a fee that is paid to the company that actually manages the fund. And that fee is called an expense ratio. So if we take a look at Vanguard's VGT, you'll see that it has an expense ratio of 0.09%. So essentially, the way that you find out how much it actually costs you to invest in a particular fund is you take that expense ratio and you multiply it by the amount of money that you have in that fund. So for example, if we had $10,000 in Vanguard's VGT, the cost to manage our investment would be $9. So whenever you're thinking about investing in an index fund, you want to make sure that you're taking a look at the expense ratio, because this is how much it's going to cost to manage your investment within that fund. Now, I have seen some expense ratios as high as 1%, some even a little bit higher. Now, you may think, nah, that's not that much money, but if it costs $9 to have your money in Vanguard's VGT, to have $10,000, and you take that same $10,000 and you put a 1% expense ratio on it, your fee jumps from $9 up to $100. So that's something you want to make sure that you're paying attention to and you're taking a look at for any investment that you have. especially inside of your retirement account. A lot of us have 401ks through our companies. We invest in these funds, but we don't understand that there's a fee associated with managing those funds. So now you know how to find out what the expense ratio is for whatever investment that you have, whether it's a mutual fund or an index fund, and you now understand how to calculate how much it costs you. Guys, you may be taking a look at the cost associated with managing your fund to be pretty small, and in the grand scheme of things, they are fairly small. But over a 15, 20, 30-year period, those small numbers add up to large amounts. So make sure that you're taking a look at how much it costs you to make that investment. On my last video, I mentioned that I was going to be starting a new $5 a day investment challenge, and I'm going to be starting that on January 1st of 2026. I'm going to be making that investment using Webull. I'm going to actually show how I go in, select the fund that I'm going to be investing in, and how I set that up on autopilot. I want to give you guys all the insight and all the details on how I'm setting up my investments. You don't have to set them up the same way, but I'm going to be showing you how I do it. So if you want to set your investments on autopilot to begin investing on January 1st, make sure that you check out my next VOO update video, because that's where I'm going to be putting that information on how I'm going to be going about investing in that new fund starting on January 1st of 2026. Now, I've narrowed down the list of funds to 3 or 4 funds. I'm still researching them, but I'll be making my decision and my selection over the next few weeks, and then I'll let you guys know and we'll go from there. I always say that I really like making these types of videos because it shows how you could start with small amounts of money and it can grow over a long period of time. The time is going to pass anyway. Why not make money while the time is passing?